I am glad to think that you had such a great and powerful part in the action which led to the destruction of a ship, a destruction which secured at once two things for her. First, it undoubtedly interfered and destroyed some great project which the Nazi dictator had in mind. For if he had not such a project, it is almost inconceivable that at that time he would have sent Admiral Lutyens, as well as the captain of the Bismarck, on the particular mission.
I can assure him, I should say, that it is most highly appreciated by all of us. Now, I would like you to show your appreciation of the visit of the First Lord of the Admiralty and of Mr. Alexander in the usual manner by giving 3 cheers. 3 cheers for the First Lord of the Admiralty. Hip, 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 hooray! Hip, 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 hooray! Hip, 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 hooray! And a tiger, hip, 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 hooray!
We was thumping salvo after salvo into her. You could see them hit. By the time we finished, we left her burning from stem to stern. One of her mags must have blown up, and she was sinking.
I need hardly say that we were very pleased in the Rodney to get this opportunity of engaging the enemy after having to wait for so many months. It was quite an exciting moment when we turned down to find the Bismarck. And it wasn't long before we saw her some 12 miles away. The Rodney opened fire first, and shortly afterwards the King George V did the same. It was a great tonic, after not having had any breakfast, to hear 16-inch gun salvos going off just in front of one. And one of the best cures for that early morning feeling that I know. The salvos at first were short, but after a few minutes several salvos came pretty close. However, with the King George V and Rodney both concentrating on her, it was not long before her fire slackened, and in about half an hour her fire ceased more or less completely.
How we eventually did lose touch on the morning of the 25th of May and the subsequent events that led up to the destruction of the Bismarck have been fully told in Admiralty communiques. But I will add this, that we in the Norfolk were very glad and very proud to be in the fray from start to finish, the only ship in the fleet to have done so. And further, that we were able to take a hand in her final destruction. We hit her repeatedly with our 8-inch salvos, and by 1, if not by 2, torpedoes.
The Norfolk's a West Country ship, which means that many of our families come from Plymouth, and most of our wives and families and relations come from cities that have been blitzed at one time or another. And it's been awfully hard to bear listening to the accounts of how these cities have been bombed from time to time, and never reckoning we were going to get the chance to hit back.
I sighted her on the port bow, and she immediately loosed off at us. My feelings were pretty mixed for a few seconds until I saw the bricks drop about 40 or 50 yards away from the ship's side. And I realized then that although we'd been Bismarck, we were quite unmarked.
At the end of that time, they had to find the Bismarck, hide themselves in the clouds from her until they were in the right position, and then deliver their attack. 9 aircraft left the ship to do this, and I did not expect to see more than 5 or 6 back at the most. We nearly wept for joy on the bridge when 9 appeared later on at night. Cut. Nothing happened for 2 hours, and then the signalman came with a signal from the aircraft. Have attacked Bismarck. 1 hit observed. Immediately we were all smiles and running round and very excited to see the aircraft coming back. However, we had to wait, and we waited another hour and a half, and then far away we saw 7 aeroplanes. Even then I was very pleased, as I had not expected as many as that to return from this very, very risky trip. Shortly after, however, to our joy, we saw 2 more, and in about half an hour's time all 9 had been safely landed on the deck at night under the most difficult conditions in which a night landing could possibly be done. The ship was steaming very fast, there was a strong wind, low clouds, and spray coming over the deck, and every pilot, in spite of the strain he'd been through in this 240-mile journey over the sea, having delivered his attack and found the way back again, every single pilot landed on safely with not the slightest damage to any aircraft. Cut.
Right. Most of us had done plenty of practice attacks. This was the first chance we'd had of going out and having a crack at the Huns. And we were all very glad that we hit such a really good target. We were still